Tell me about your vision.
My vision is to influence people's lifestyles with eating and, helping people lead the best quality of life they can. I feel like being with and associated with people who are happy and are feeling good and feeling healthy are just so much more fulfilling to be with. And so just creating that community and increasing everybody's quality of life and vibration is my vision.
That's awesome. Um, Tell me more about that. Where did this all started come from, and what gets you bed out of bed every morning?
Yeah, so this all started with my youngest child being diagnosed on the autism spectrum. And as a scientist, I was kind of definitely trying to solve the problem. And when I was observing her symptoms, it just seemed like she was chronically in pain, like there was something that was really disturbing her ability to lead kind of a happy and just have a quality of life that one would associate at the 2.5, 3 years old of life. Um, I did try the medical world and really wasn't finding a lot of answers at that point, and this is back in 2009. Really kind of just being turned down about this or this test and such. And so I kind of took matters into my own hands and started to really look into gut brain connection, especially when it came to food, and started to experiment on my daughter as well as myself in changing our foods. And when I came across like taking out gluten and casein, which is a significant class of proteins, one class of proteins found in wheat, gluten, and casein found in dairy, I saw some improvements, and it got me kind of just going down this rabbit hole of why are these proteins contributing to her symptoms? What about the other proteins? And I'm a protein chemist by trade. And so I went down the rabbit hole. And that's when I came to this association of the processing of proteins in the diet in the American modern commercial world is creating glutamate through the processing of proteins. So we have gluten proteins being processed, the casein proteins being processed, like creating cheese. But then you have whey protein and soy protein and all these various protein concentrates, isolates, hydrolysates that are breaking up the protein and contributing to, an amino acid being freed called glutamate. So glutamic acid is one type of amino acid, but that is, what leads to MSG, monosodium glutamate. You just have a sodium ion in there, and it becomes very addicting. It hijacks our taste receptors. It's associated with inflammation. And I found when I came across that clue and really went through, okay, I'm going down Google patents and food patents and such, and really went through the diet, my daughter's symptoms were, she changed. It was complete radical change in her demeanor from faceless, no expressions, to just like this vibrant, exuberant child, happy on life, literally waking up and saying, this is the best day ever, where before she would be crying and screaming for hours at a time as if she was in pain or she was looping. So it was a complete dramatic change. So I started talking to other parents and parents helping parents, local communities here in California. And people like, you've got to get this word out. Like, this is amazing. And so I decided to start UnblindMyMind.org, which was a nonprofit, and started to research the book, which was just published last year, which is Fat, Stressed, and Sick, MSG, Processed Foods, and America's Health Crisis. And really just trying to get the word out there that these are things that we can take in control, rather than looking for the medical, world for answers. It really is a huge lifestyle change. Doctors are not trained with what's going on with the food processing right now. They're rarely asking patients what they eat. And so this is a whole other niche that I call myself the food doctor. It's an unmet need here in, improving the health of our societies. But that's really where my passion and vision started. And, I get out of bed in the morning thinking, okay, who can I influence today? What can I do for myself to continuously be on this journey?
Wow, that's awesome. Wow, there is so much you said in that I have no clue what it is, but I got the gist behind it. Um, so what would you say, with all the research and things that you accomplished? Like, where are you at with your business side of things, with Unblind My Mind, and where do you see it going?
I'm, just a very small operation here where I'm just looking to influence, whether it's one bite at a time, one person at a time, one, conference at a time. So getting invited to health conferences or autism conferences or chronic, ailments, I did work with a medical center for a number of years where I like to influence the medical world to be looking at these chronic inflammatory conditions from a variety of different lenses, not just throwing prescription drugs at it, but what can we do to really help, sustainable approaches for improving patients' lives. Um, and then the research is constantly out there with, pharmaceutical companies with their glutamate blocker drugs that are just like mega, billions of dollars here, where why take a glutamate blocker drug and not have a person look at how to reduce the consumption of glutamate in the foods first and foremost, see how well that goes. Now, of course, that approach is not a lot of money, right? So this is all about eating healthy. There's not a lot of money in that. And so, but I feel really passionate and feeling very authentic about spreading this word. And like I said, the book is also kind of part of how to spread the word. And that's my vision is just, one bite at a time, improving people's health.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being bold to go that route, because not a lot of people are. And we found, like, how many people have been bold in sometimes and they haven't had the best results because this billion-dollar industry you're going against, and they're not happy about that at all.
Yeah, so
And
it's
most,
big pharma and big food. I mean, they are
yeah,
not happy
yeah,
about, yeah, eat healthy.
yeah. And more people, when they wake up to this reality, that they realize, like, there's so much you can do on your side. And I think I've been saying this to myself and my family for, I want to say, at least 4 or 5 years now, that, well, I'm born and raised in India. Like, I don't think you can tell, but like, I'm born and raised in India. And when I came to United States, when I was 18, and I think a few years down the road, I was in college, and I think I injured my low back. And I went to chiropractors and went to doctors and all those things, and they would just manage my symptoms and would not heal me. And I'm like years and years worth of money spent, years and years worth of therapy, this and that. None of them, not a single one of them was like, you can do these things that will actually improve your condition. You have issues in these areas that you need to stabilize your muscle so you can release your low back so that they can start healing it. No, they would just give me drugs or adjust me here, adjust me there, like chiropractors do. And so I was like, I don't think American medicine right now is meant to cure you. I think it's supposed to maybe treat your symptoms sometimes.
Yeah, it's a Band-Aid approach.
It
It's
is.
it's an expensive approach, and I think the American, the amount of money that we spent percentage-wise, our percent GDP spent on healthcare, the outcomes are not reflected there. We are not a healthy nation relative to how much money we spend, and I do think significantly it's our lifestyle, and food is a big part of that.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many approaches to this, and I, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I hope more and more people hear about this. I think more and more people know to no need to take in charge of their own life instead of relying on some doctor, and going getting a test once a year, telling them, "Hey, you're healthy." But are you really healthy, or are you slowly dying or slowly killing yourself because um, you don't know any better?
Yeah, yeah, no, and I do think that a lot, the test is only as good as what the projected, ailment might be or whatever your ailment might be. And I worked with a really chronically ill patient population for about 5 years with a medical center called chronic fatigue syndrome. Um, or MECFS. And I mean, honestly, I don't think I've ever worked with a sicker population. I mean, just chronic inflammatory conditions where the medical world is just not understanding what's going on there. And we would do all these tests, and there really wouldn't be anything that was just very crystal clear or showing up in, all across the population of explaining, what's really going on here. So I think a lot of our various illnesses, diseases, are rooted in chronic inflammation. And so it's, my when I work with one-on-one people, through the UnblindMyMind.org website, it really is like, okay, let's identify your root cause of inflammation. That might be very different from this person and this person. And so, everybody's journey is different. Everybody's microbiome is extremely different, and our neurological wiring is so different, genetics. And so really kind of helping people understand what their chronic inflammatory root causes and seeing if we can improve that, and that really helps improve quality of life quite a bit.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.